Hello, Robert.
Hi, Ståle. Nice to see you.
Welcome to Viva Explorers Around the World.
Yeah, great. Thank you for having me here. I'm really excited to being part of this Viva Explorers community and having such a great host like you. Yeah, what can I wish more?
I wish for a fantastic session. And what are you going to talk about?
I will talk about Microsoft Viva Insights and giving you some inspiration, what you can use, so really the features under the hood, to improve your meeting management.
Ah, fantastic. I think a lot of people are interested in that. So I think we are on time. So if you want to share your screen, we can get started. Maybe you already have, and I will add you to the stream, and you can take it away. Have fun.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ståle. And hello and welcome everybody to Viva Explorers Around the World. And with that said, when you are now joining this event, so my session, and also then maybe have joined some other sessions, you are part of the Viva Explorers community, of course. So also please feel always free to share your insights, not only Viva Insights, in general your insights, what you have done with Viva already, what are your experiences. Everybody's eager to hear from real life experiences, so please do so. Also, you're more welcome to do this here under the stream, but also feel always free to do this in the general community channels, Yeah, let's start ahead. As I just mentioned, when Ståle introduced me, we would like to now talk about Microsoft Viva Insights and really digging into how we can empower your meeting management. I think when I ask you, do you have some meetings in your company? Of course you have. So meeting is one of the biggest topics that we have. And it's not always running very well in every company. And there are some things we can do to improve the meeting management and simply the experience of the meetings. And when we talk about all our employees or our colleagues, too many meetings can be frustrating. And we would like to find out how we can remove this frustration, how we can really make meetings more productive and more useful. And this is where Viva Insights can help us with. So with that said, just if you haven't heard about me, I'm Rob. I'm working for Context AI, and yeah, we are doing also additional dashboards, so which go above and beyond from Microsoft Viva, but independently of this, we are very, very big friends of Microsoft Viva because we share more or less the same genes, because we can do a lot with data, and we will see this today at this session, what you can do with data in regards to your meeting management. All right, so giving you a very rough agenda, what we are going to expect from the session now. So we are already in the introduction, actually, and then I will give you a short overview. What is actually the problem, or what are the many problems that we are facing with meetings in our companies? And then, of course, when using Viva Insights to face those issues and to overcome them, I will give you then the kind of the scope and the definitions how Viva Insights is working and is measuring our meeting management, and based on these findings that I will show you then in the main part. So some of the dashboards we will find out, as an example, Contoso company. And based on these findings that we have there, we will jump then into the next steps, what you can do. And these are then really actionable, because I'm pretty sure a few of these findings will be very similar to you, independently if you use Viva Insights or not yet. So therefore, these next steps will be then very useful for you also in the end to move on. All right, so as you know, Microsoft Viva Insights is part of the entire Viva family. Therefore, we are here in this Viva Around the World conference. And I would like to focus only on the Viva Insights topic here right now. So with that said, this is the typical Microsoft marketing slide in this case. So, of course, with the features underneath Microsoft Viva Insights, and I'm specifically not talking about these My Insights that maybe everybody of you know about. No, I would like to give you the inspiration what else you can really do under the hood, what you can really find out with the additional analysis engine underneath. So therefore, I try to highlight this here a little with this box. So this is what we are focusing today. So how can these insights help senior leaders or the entire company to address complex challenges? We will have also the inspiration when we have a deep analysis. So I show you the regarding analytics and dashboards. And then with that said, the regarding advanced tools, to use this. A little outlook. Later on today, I will also have a session about Viva Insights deep dive. In that session, we will also look under or behind the curtain how to make those advanced dashboards, advanced and custom insights. Here, the session is just about inspiration, what you can get out of it. Okay, so let's face the problem. So when we talk about meeting management, and who of you can raise a hand that, okay, you're jumping from meeting to meeting, there's no time in between, and we have, with that said, simply too many meetings, and with that said, I don't get my stuff done. So, and not only I'm not getting my stuff done, even in general, the companies are usually complaining that the company is not getting their stuff done because meetings are going mostly out of hand, maybe. Going off topic, or they focus on other things, and then everybody wants to say something, and so on and so forth. So this is another topic, and this leads simply to the analysis. Okay, maybe when we just go off topic and everybody wants to say at least something to prove that I'm right in this meeting. So this is also simply one of these problems that we are usually facing, and we will also see now in this session what kind of impact this will have. All right, and last but not least, one of these sub-challenges and sub-issues we have with poor meeting management is that, the people also simply don't know if they're needed or not, whether I say something or not, and this increasing meeting time even on top. So these are actually some of the common challenges that we are facing when having meetings, especially when the company gets larger and larger. So who of you would say, okay, at least one of these issues I experience in my company? As I said, I'm raising my hand here again, so I'm facing that all the time at different companies and customers. And of course, I'm not saying that we at Context AI are free of this, but to be honest, we improved a lot thanks to Viva Insights when we used that. And I will share this example then later on when we are on the regarding dashboards. All right, so this is so far for the problem description, and I think everybody of you can confirm that those problems we have in our current meeting culture, especially after pandemic times, and we have hybrid meetings. So, and today the dashboards that I'm going to show with you, they are kind of anonymized, of course. They are from our well-known company called Contoso. In this case, this Contoso company has 738 employees. And these 738 employees are more or less spread across these different departments. So operations engineering, there we have the most, engineering, software development, and so on and so forth. So this is what we can see here. These departments, these organizational units will play a role later on. And also, what is the level of these employees, these colleagues? So we have this, so let's call them standard, normal employees, so individual contributors, so the people who get the job done, and they have their regarding managers and the managers plus, so the managers of the managers. So this is how the structure looks like. And the analysis of Viva Insights is looking into our calendars, so into our emails, into our calendars, and regarding Teams and chat information that we have also on Microsoft Teams. So far, so good. This is the data set we are analyzing. And before I go forward, really want to highlight again, we are just talking about 738 employees in this case. So let's go ahead. what is now Viva Insights doing for us in the background? So it's already doing this for my insights, but with the real Viva Insights, so with the additional analysis capabilities, we can do, of course, way more. But the analysis engine, or the concept of this analysis is the same, and that we are going to check here. So Insights will check what are my average working hours. And they start, in this case, from 8 and end at 5 p.m. So this is how I configured this in Outlook simply. So fair enough. So have an eye on this. What is configured in your Outlook as your average working hours. Next one is everything before and after. So these are called after hours time. So of course, because they happen before and after this time, what you configured in your Outlook. And then when you run from Monday to Friday, so just assuming this is your normal week and the normal weekdays, you have some collaboration time, some collaboration hours. These are here now highlighted with these purple box, and this is just this considers that you're in a meeting, for example, you send an email, you're in a Teams chat or Teams calls and so on and so forth. So you're not just working yourself, just not alone, at least one person you're in interaction with. And this is obvious when you send an email, as long as you're not sending it to yourself, then you have a kind of interaction, and this is then considered as collaboration hours. And now let's take the first activity in regards to collaboration that you are doing and the last one of the day. And this is then obviously tracked as your work day span or altogether your work week span. So it will be all called calculated together. And then we have our average working hours over the entire week. So important to know here, whenever you make a quick chat, even before your official working hours or even afterwards, you're having a meeting or something like this then obviously fall in your after hours working time. And if you have some time in between by default, it's configured by 2 hours. You can also set it by 1 hour or even more. This is up to you. But if you have those kind of blocks where there's no meeting scheduled, for example, and you're not actively in a chat, and then this is considered as your focus time. I think everybody who worked with my insights already noticed this, that we can configure us these blockers for focus time, even if this is not blocked. If you don't have something in your calendar, no collaboration in your calendar, Viva Insights is tracking this automatically as your focus hours. Okay, if we now put this aside, so keep this in mind. And if we take now this example that I shared with you, then we see in this case, we have an average weekly collaboration hours of 21 hours in this example, so in the screenshot. And this is then round about 50% of my average weekly work span of 39 hours in this case. So when we put this now into more detail, then we can see of this 21 hours of collaboration time, we spend, round about a half of this just in meetings, so 9 hours in meetings. We write a lot of mails in this case, and these users here don't spend that much time in Teams. What's going on here? So, but in this example, Contoso is having a lot of meetings. And then even worse, of all this time, of this collaboration time, so collaboration really means I'm not focusing on my stuff, I'm really in interaction with somebody. This sum up to 4 hours of this after work, after hours collaboration time. And here the meetings are even the biggest part here. So an additional argument why we should have a look into that. Does this make sense to you guys so far? Hope so. We are going ahead here now. So what you can see now from Viva Insights under the hood. So just one screenshot because before we dive a little bit deeper. You know already this My Insights, and you maybe played around with this. When you have the role as a manager, or you have the role of an entire organizational leader, then you get additional tabs in your Viva Insights app. In this example, we see the organization trends, and here we see this example of meeting time. So this is a little metrics here. We will have a look into this later. So on the button, we have how many hours are spent. So the first box is here, 0 to 1 hours of meetings are spent. And on the right-hand side, the right column is all the meetings plus 1 hour spent. So all meetings who last longer than one hour. And on top here, we have 2 to 8 persons on the first row. And then above, we have everything that is larger than these 8 persons. Why these 8 persons, and why you should not invite more than 8 people to your barbecue party? The reason is simple, because on a barbecue party, when there are more than 8 people, or more than 9, so from 9 on, you can't really interact with everybody. So you then have the case that smaller groups are developing, and then you cannot really exchange with everybody here. And this leads also to the meeting problematic. So when you have more than 8 people in the meeting, the time to decision decrease by 10%. So every person you add to these 8 people will then make the time last longer until finally this decision is made. And this is simply because, as I said at the beginning, everybody's invited. Everybody also don't really know if I'm here right. So at least I say something that I have some kind of proof I was valuable here. And this is the simple story behind why you should not invite more people for decision-making meetings in here. And this is what Viva Insights is showing us also with this additional Viva Insights license and their additional Viva Insights capabilities. But this is still high level. It gives us way more information already. But of course, we want to find out more. So let's go to the next slide. And before we go into this, I need to warn you. Do you really want to see this? So do we want to go into the rabbit hole and find out what inspiration we can really get? Of course you want, right? We're on the same page. We take the red pill from Morpheus, and we now jump into the topic. So what are the 3 main pillars of Viva Insights? There's also for sales a special focus, but this is then in regards to also if you have CRM, so Dynamics for Microsoft, this is focusing on the salespeople only. But in general, of the collaboration for us in general in a company, we have 3 main pillars. And the first one is meeting culture. This is why we are now here. We have also manager effectiveness. So how effective are the managers in organizing and leading their teams, and also the general well-being. Maybe this well-being is what Viva Insights became famous for, because it's about taking time off and relax and breathe and so on and so forth. So there are, of course, also additional dashboards and charts. We just want to have a look into the meeting culture, of course, and there Microsoft is providing us a lot of more information. So let's do this. We will now look into 3 main areas. So we will start here with the amount of large and long meetings. We will extend these 2-row, 2-column matrix that I showed you at the beginning. Then we will have also a look into the recurring meeting hours. And then last but not least, we will also have a look into multitasking. What is important for that? And why are we doing this? We simply have one opportunity. We want to free up capacity. So we want to simply free up time for our employees, for our colleagues, so that they can get their work done. So this is the main objective here, why we will now have a look into these 3 main features. So let's start over here. And as we are now able to see, we have here not only 2 columns and 2 rows. No, this is now way more detailed that we can get out of Microsoft Viva Insights. So we have on the XL again the duration of our meeting time, how long the regarding meeting appointments last, and on the YL we have then the regarding amount of attendees. And this is separated or categorized already by kind of so-called meetings like all hands meetings. I think everybody knows about them. We have typical workshops which last from the morning till the evening, so one big block, of course. So this is happening. And we have this general lengthy meetings, so meetings which takes quite some time, but also bloated meetings. Bloated means there are more than 18 people. So as I said, even more than 8 is kind of, let's see. But also those bloating meetings when we have 19 and more people inside the meeting, this is quite a lot already. And one insight we can see here also is, of all these meetings, there are 36% non-recurring, and the 2/3, so 64% are really recurring meetings. So 2 out of 3 meetings are happening every week or every month or even every day. So this is an important feature here. Why is this now important? So when we make now this deeper look, and I just highlighted here these 3 categories: workshop, bloated, and all hands meetings. And if we sum this up, this will then end up in 50% of all our meeting time. So all employees together, even if all hand meeting is just taking 30 minutes, but we have there 50 people inside, then we have to multiply these 30 minutes with 50 people. And this is the amount of hours that we burn in this meeting. I'm not saying that all hands meetings are by default wrong, and therefore don't get this burn meeting hours wrong in this case, because all hands meetings definitely make sense. Don't have them too often. This is the only thing I want to give you. Because when we really take this 50% of meeting time, and again, this is a data set of 738 employees, this sums up of 280,000 hours that are spent in those workshops, bloated meetings, all-hand meetings, and so on and so forth, and means it's kind of 236 of your employees are sitting non-stop in meetings. So around 1/3 of your employees are sitting constantly in meetings and cannot get any work done in this case. So in this small company, in this case, this means average salary that are calculated based on European salaries. This would mean more than 11 million euros are spent for the small companies per year in these meetings. And again, not every meeting, really only these large bloated all-hands meetings. So I think it's clear for you why this matters. So simply said, limit the number of these long meetings or limit the number of people who are in these long meetings can speed up productivity, because the people can then get their stuff done, or they don't have to wait until finally a decision is made, and so on and so forth. So therefore, this proportion should simply change, focus on very agile meetings, so smaller groups and more short, and then you save time for the other stuff. And the other stuff simply don't mean, okay, you can now work on even more other tasks. No, you can have a coffee break. You can maybe stop working early on a Friday or something like this. This is a killing frustration, because you're simply happier, because you got some time back for your well-being in this case. So long and very bloated meetings as a feature number 1 were identified. 50% can be optimized, and this is a large number already. Let's look a little bit deeper into these kind of meetings, and especially these reoccurring meetings. So are they really focused, or are they kind of going out of hand because people are doing something else? Why is this important? Because when we have, again, so a daily meeting or weekly meeting, somebody gives an update, and these updates are not really an update, because this guy said the same last week again. So this guy just likes to hear himself talking or something like this. So with that said, and taking this example of a meeting, of this reoccurring meeting, we can, if we want, track also the subject line of regarding meeting invitations. This is a privacy setting, of course. If you don't want, you can just hash this, and then you will not get this information that you see here now on the screen. But if you want, because you have a need to find out what's going on here with my meetings, then you can, of course, unhash those meeting subjects and find it out. So we can see here from the dashboard that we have some meeting impact. So the more on the side, so the more users are inside, and then on the YAL, we see how many emails are sent in this case. So, and there's a trend highlighted here in this light blue or turquoise. And that in some meetings where there are many people, there are also many emails written. So I highlighted here 2 meetings especially. So there's fundraising. So the first row here, we can see this consumes 40 hours. So let's say there are 10 people inside. This meeting takes 4 hours in this case. Well, it's quite long, and that's every week. But a red light here is every employee is writing 5.3 emails during that meeting. So, okay, isn't it that interesting? So why is everybody doing anything else but not following the meeting? And also second one I want to highlight here, it's this one, stuff and the face, please, and so on and so forth. This is burning, let's call it this way, 144 attendee hours. And even there, in an average, every attendee is writing 2.5 emails here. So the people are not really following this meeting. And therefore, it's important to have the right size of this meeting and also the right frequency of this meeting. Again, when there's no update from last week, we should not have this meeting this time. So please exclude it, cancel it, whatever. And therefore, we are simply more effective when we can double check these meetings. And in this case, as I said, is this meeting really needed? The information that I want to share, why is this important for me? Why is this important for the others? Why should they attend? And why do I want to share this with the others? If you ask these questions yourself, then and you can have a clear answer, then you're good prepared. And then the question, what is the attendee list? Are these really important for all of these attendees or just for a subset of them? And if there are not many ties, there's not many information spent and shared, and thus do we have to have this meeting for 4 hours, 2 hours, or even 1 hour? Maybe it can be solved in even shorter time. Because I'm not sure if who of you experienced this behavior, this pattern. When you have a 1 hour meeting, let's say this way, there's a trend of you have the feeling, okay, it's ending now after 40 minutes, 45 minutes, so we can have a cut. Did any of you ever experience that the people start to maybe talk even longer and say even something else because there's still some time left until the meeting time is 1 hour, not just 45 minutes. So the people try to fill these time. They they don't want to end it earlier because then they have the feeling, okay, it was a wrong meeting. We were not able to discuss the entire time. So I would say everybody of us experienced that. I experience this more and more often, in my opinion. It's a kind of pattern, and this is something that you can simply switch off when you shorten your meeting. So, and these multitasking in this case could give you an idea which meetings can be shortened because people are not focused, they do other stuff, they're maybe not interested. So look who's in the attendee list and look if it's really needed to have it that long. Otherwise, people start to do other stuff. Okay, great. We found out a lot so far. And now coming from this multitasking, so that people are writing emails while having a meeting, we also want to have an even deeper look into this multitasking habits. So in this case, yeah, seems to be kind of a habit. In this case, it means the more the people work, the more they also multitask. So they want to, so they stay longer in the office, for example, or work from home, and they do different things while they're on the call, for example, and so on and so forth. So this is here happening quite a lot. And when I put then also the departments or organizational units here inside, here we can see that especially 3 departments are having these multitasking habits. So sales, program management, and strategies, they are mostly here in this area where they spend a lot of collaboration time. And in this collaboration time, they have a lot of multitasking activities. So they are in a meeting and are writing emails. So we not only know what kind of meetings have this multitasking, we also now know which departments belong mostly to those kind of meetings. So with that said, having these multitasking rates, as I mentioned on the slide before, this is really not nice because the people are not focusing. And let's share with you another example. Who of you experienced that somebody was asked, hey, this is your topic, Mr. Max, can you share your insights on this? And this Mr. Max was saying, oh yeah, I didn't get this right. Could you raise a question again? And this is, of course, an excuse. I'm sharing this because this Max is me. It happened to me twice, and then I understood this is not nice. So I was simply not following. I was doing other stuff. And when I'm doing other stuff, I cannot really follow the meeting. And I had to re-ask, or please rephrase the question because I didn't got it. Just this moment of a few seconds is lengthening the meeting and is maybe bothering the others that we cannot have this constant meeting flow. So yeah, this analysis helps a lot to really focus on which departments have these problems, because you don't have to run an entire company-wide campaign. Please stop multitasking, because in this case, it's these 3 departments only. The rests are more or less good. Sure, they have a few multitasking, but even when they collaborate a lot, they're still here in this area of this matrix where it's still acceptable, let's call it this way. So here we drive now more and more into the detail and can now really decrease the amount of our colleagues for whom it is important to talk about their meeting habits. All right. So far, so good on a high-level basis. We checked the long and bloated meetings. We checked the multitasking experience, especially when a meeting happens, who are writing emails. And then we checked even deeper what departments are affected, or what departments are a part of those multitasking meetings. This can give us now already kind of an idea to whom should we reach out to improve this overall meeting management and meeting experience. Now we can go even deeper. Therefore, we are here. We want to get inspiration. What else is possible? So we now also go even deeper into into the long and lasting meetings. You can see here, oh, this is black on black. This is, of course, not that good. Very quick moment. Why this is not taken? So now we have it better. Yeah, so in here we see that from all these collaboration time, oh, there's one thing missing. So yeah, it's coming. Here we go. So here we have now this lengthy, bloaty workshops and especially all hands meetings. Here we find out that especially the operations engineering and the program management they are actually the reasons for these all hands meetings and this for this all hands meeting in this case. And these are the meetings who burn most of the time. And we get from Viva Insights also kind of an average here. So in here, I would even say that many of these departments have quite big all hands meetings. So with more than 50 and then 51 and more people inside. So but the worst is actually really these two departments in this case. So in this case, again, why this matters, it's a good practice to really also inform the leaders, because mostly these are the leaders who make this invitation, that they can be aware of. Hey, you have a lot of these all hands meetings, you're burning a lot of time in these meetings. So maybe think about if you would like to reduce this a little to free up some time, some capacity from your team. So, okay, we found out who's creating those meetings, and creating is a good point here, because even here, and this is actually one of my most favorite features, because we can see here on the chart on the left-hand side, here, we need to make the agenda also white. Here we go. On this chart, we can see that around 20% of the Contoso employees create 82% of the meeting workload. And this is impressive, simply. And when we look into this, it's again the program management. Yay! It's again strategy department here. So those are the people who not only spend the time in these all hands meetings. No, these are also the root cause of it. They create them. And even more, it could be, for example, you have a secretary, so especially as a manager, and you could create all these meetings. And then this is maybe by design, this is intended to do so, because I, as a CEO of a company, I will not make the invitation and send this invitation out myself. My secretary will do this on behalf. So in this case, this number could be okay, because this is what is a company culture. But if this is not the culture, then you should have a look into that. And here, most of them are really the managers and the managers of the managers. In this case, I would like to say, make sure if these are really the managers or if these are the secretaries of the managers. If B, then it may be okay. But if these are the managers themselves from program management and strategy department, maybe talk to them and say them, okay, we have an issue. You should decrease the amount of your all hands meetings. So we come from the big point. We have in general long all hands meetings. We found out inside these all hands meetings, certain departments are spending most of the time in them. And now we found even out that these are the managers and the managers of the managers from program management and the strategy department who create those all hands meetings. All right, well, and then the last feature on this side, what we can also analyze, and this is then a look into, if there's a kind of a dependency of the amount of meeting hours and if the colleagues are double booked. So this means in this case, many managers, they simply say, okay, I will join the meeting because I think they're important, they must be at any meetings and they want to say something at any meetings. And it can happen that short before the meeting, they simply skip because, oh no, I have to be on the other meeting because they double booked, or they don't skip at all, so they don't cancel the meeting at all. And now the people are waiting there in their meeting. Yeah, we're still waiting for the manager and so on and so forth. With this scenario that I just explained, it's so obvious that this is burning meeting time. It creates frustration. People are waiting for the manager or other colleagues who simply not join even without canceling. And they simply waste their time at that moment in the meeting. And also we can find out with Viva Insights, we have a kind of tendency that the more meetings or the more the employees spend in meetings, the more they are double booked. This is also kind of a pattern that there's a kind of a meeting culture. Meetings are sent out to everybody. It's better to include everybody before I maybe miss somebody. So, and the more of these people sending out meetings, the more are also arriving at my inbox, and the more I don't know should I join or not, and the more I say then better I join because I could be needed, but I don't know. So also in this case, we see on an average, there's a trend in general of double bookings. Yeah, if we should take out one specific department, it may be operations engineering in this case, but it's an average, not that good here in this data set that we have. So why it matters, I think I answered already this question when we talked about this scenario that I mentioned, that we don't need the managers in every meeting. We also don't need every colleague and every whoever contributes to a meeting. Really make sure who's really needed, who has a contribution to the meeting. These should be, of course, included and not the others. And this will then also reduce the double booking. One example I want to share with you, what we use at Context AI, for example, was really that our managers, especially our CEO at the beginning, he thought he must be in each meeting to kind of give them a good feeling. Oh, this is important. Even our CEO is joining and so on, and that employees feel kind of appreciated that the CEO is spending with them the time. But the other side of the medal is that people can also feel monitored when the CEO is joining every meeting, or simply when my managers are joining and monitoring me in every meeting. So this was really the insight. Oh, yeah, I'm actually double booked. I have too many meetings, our CEO said. So then let's reduce them. And this was really increasing our meeting culture, not because we felt monitored, but also our CEO could better focus on other stuff. And we also didn't need to wait when he finally joined and so on and so forth, because we know this meeting is without him. It's just on us. We have to make the decision ourselves. So therefore, this was making our meetings way more productive. All right. So let's summarize what we have seen so far. We saw that in our different dashboards, we were able to dig deeper into the regarding insights that we have, and the bloated meetings, the all-hands meetings, and the multitasking, which departments are responsible for that, to create those and to do this. And now it's about how to deal with those findings. And when we take now this initial opportunity and the initial objective that we had to free up the capacity, so what is now the things that we have to look at? What are the main things that we have to look at? These are simply audit the most expensive, reoccurring meetings. Check. This is what we have done. Identify any multitasking, if there is any multitasking. If there's multitasking, people are doing anything else, but they're not focusing, so meeting quality can't be good. And then also identify any double booking. As I said, this was the last example. This can also be a big enabler to simply improve your meeting culture. So when we now have now comparison to our task that we can do here now in this case. So I'm taking back here these issues that we mentioned at the beginning. We would like to tackle them now. So first of all, we audited the most expensive recurrent meetings. And what we found out, you remember, it's a program management which has most of the all hands and bloated meetings, and it's even responsible to create them. And also, especially for this meeting load, it's also the strategy department, but especially it's the managers and the managers of the managers who are responsible for that. So this can be a clear indicator how to solve problem number one. we have too many meetings, what to do? We are feel overwhelmed with all the stuff. Okay, first action which we could do, address the program management department and or strategy and operations department, especially to the managers, and face them with this issue that we found out with Viva Insights, and show them the dashboards. They will find it, they will see, okay, there's something going on. And as we were all able to see, there's no finger pointing to specific managers or to any specific users. No, it's of course security trimmed, and you can't drill down to specific users if they do something right or not. This is of course a matter of configuration. And then second, the multitasking. And even here we found out it's a program management is the main root cause for these meetings. When we face this multitasking, we really try to solve something on this. We would tackle 3 issues at once. So simply, as they said, we don't get enough done during the meetings. Yeah, I mentioned this example that, oh yeah, sorry, could you please rephrase the question? I didn't understand. Yeah, or other people just doing anything else and are not really contributing. Because sometimes you have a meeting like, we now want to contribute with a loop component or whatever to get something done. And when only 20% of this are really contributing and really into it, and the rest is doing anything else, yeah, you're not effective. You could do more if everybody is focusing, and then you could get done more. So with that said, when everybody is focused, you're not running out of hand anymore in your meetings. You're really focused, and then with that said, one requirement to be focused and to get stuff done is also to not have too many people in the meeting. So this is then also leading to that when you have multitasking, many people are on site, everybody tries to say something, maybe, and you don't get stuff done, then think about if you really need that many people in this meeting. So yeah, this can help them on these 3 issues. And last but not least, this double booking that we had in the end. Even this, addresses if there are too many people in the meeting, and also we don't even know what's going on. And this is a real life problem I heard recently also from a larger company. We are invited, everybody's on the tool line, even the manager is there. Before I'm not joining, I better join, because otherwise my manager thinks I'm not working or something like this. So really, really look into your meetings. And in this case, we found out, especially operations engineering have a lot of double bookings, but it's in general a trend for this Contoso company data set. So think about it. Is really everybody needed? Mandatory or sometimes just optional? So on a CC line in this case. And do you have an agenda maybe to know what will be talked about, or just that the meeting itself has a really good headline so that I know, okay, this is not for me. Let me jump quickly back to this one. When we see here these headlines here, the subject lines from all of them are not that good. I think everybody of you is doing better subject lines for the meetings, but this data set, this company was really not doing it well. So this is the reason, one of the reasons why they had that bad meeting quality. So make an agenda and at least provide a good meeting subject line so that everybody knows what we are talking about. Okay, putting this now into kind of these metrics, what could be solved quickly. As I said, when we run a kind of a campaign with this program management and so on and so forth, that please remove those expensive meetings, so this all hands meetings. This could be a very quick win, and implementation shouldn't be that big to run regarding campaign on it. So therefore, this is really easy to achieve. This multitasking, similar. You can run it with the same campaign. These are now the tasks how to focus. Put maybe kind of a best practices in each meeting room, put it into the chat if it's hybrid, or put it on the desk in the meeting room. What are the rules of a good and productive meetings, that you focus, you don't run offhand and something like this. So this is also relatively easy to achieve, and when everybody's really aware of this, it's a very quick win to really realize a change. And the last one here was this double booking. I put this a little bit more difficult in regards to the implementation, especially on this data set, because this is simply a general culture thing in this company. They tend to really like this double booking, although it's bad. I think it can take some time until they really understand, until they really change. Therefore, this is simply my assumption that this can take something longer. But also in regard to the last one, what I said, that we don't make this double booking. Again, make a strict headline, that it's clear what it's about, and provide also an agenda, what will be part of this meeting. Maybe even with regarding colleagues who are responsible per topic. And then the colleagues can decide themselves, okay, I'm just on a CC line. I'm not even listed in any of these agenda topic descriptions. So I have other stuff to do, which has to be done very soon. So people can then better decide if they join this meeting or not. All right, so I hope with these 3 points here in general, with this inspiration, what you can get out of Viva Insights under the hood, and how you can then really address and focused where to start a change, that this is also something you can put into action immediately also on your side. And just one little information here. As I said, we at Context are also running a couple of dashboards, also these matrices you can find there, but also how punctual the people are joining. Can we really start on time? Are the meetings running over time and something like this? This is also important, what we can analyze and provide you with this information here, just to an example screenshot. If this is important, that you maybe have some struggles to deploy Viva Insights due to some GDPR and these big company regulations, we don't have these. We have a different approach. And if you want to approach your meeting management, but can't use Viva Insights, we could help you with that. Just mentioning this. And I got approval from the marketing team. We can even provide you with a voucher here. Let us know. Aside from this, of course, read out to the official Microsoft sites that you can find, and make yourself familiar with them. Also reach out to us. We are more than happy to help you on this, because we are all Viva Explorers. We are all one community, and we help each other. So find your contacts, find your colleagues. And with that said, I'm happy if you would like to join me on LinkedIn or Twitter, wherever you want. I'm happy to get in touch with you and hear from your challenges in regards to meeting management. Okay, let me check if there are any questions, and if not, then I leave you, of course, with a great rest of the conference. And
yep. No, Robert, there were no questions.
Okay.
Can you hear?
I see the follow-up.
Yep. So, but thank you very much for your session. It was very inspiring, looking at the data, breaking it down, and looking where you can make the push. So thank you very much. We will have a 7-minute break, and then next up is Al Erdley on how to configure elevated access for Viva securely with Entra. Thank you very much, Robert.
Thank you, Sarah. Have a great day, guys.